Mrs. Majuke, Honorable Rita. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for the presentation. To me, what touches me most is the issue to do with increasing inequality in terms of access to economic activities. The argument that the Minister is putting is actually getting that little, whereas it is not very desirable that that's what women should sell. Unfortunately, reality posts it that that's what they sell. In every town, every city, every village, every disadvantaged woman, most single mothers, single or child-headed homes end up selling alcohol. There is a study that was conducted in Bunyoro, I think that's 2014 for sure. The only money a woman can claim, a history of distilling in Bunyoro. Here we are. That most of those women end up in those areas. They don't choose to, but they strive for life, post them to sell alcohol in the most road-sourced areas, what people usually call slums. That's where their children are raised. That's where they derive school fees and a living. Honorable Minister, you proposed that in this bill we shall set up boards, we shall set up different committees. And you know it very well as a woman that that won't serve them because they won't reach them. After all, they are illiterate. They cannot read and write. So would you expound how then will the livelihood of these women shift from earning and having an income of economic empowerment to zero, running away in hunger with nowhere to go? And for me, that directly links. I was looking forward to the presentation of the psychiatrist and the association, but good enough you clarified that's embedded in this. You named very many conditions, not so many anyway. Suicide, I can tell, that in my understanding links to mental health, probably mental disabilities. I pick suicide. That most of these women actually run to sell because that is what they are avoiding. Points of desperation, points of stress, so that they can be seen as mothers who can provide. They can be seen to care for the children. That's the only option they have. We can walk to Katanga. Honorable Chair, if you allow, we can have a trip. You don't have to go to Mbara City where I have Kajogo, where I have Biafra, where I have Kasanyarazi. Name them, Chile and many others. We can do a tour as a committee with our witnesses and live the life that those people live. So before we think that even the little they have is taken, we provide the solution, and then we can think about controlling alcohol. So a woman wakes up a day, sells her alcohol at any time of the day, and is able to take her children to school. So if you say they start selling at 10, does that mean even they will fail at their motherly role? By 10, they are thinking of sleeping so that their children can get up early to go to school. Then they can juggle additional activities after that probably I wouldn't want to mention. So the increase in control of alcohol, don't you think it has a direct effect to actually increase psychiatry and mental health conditions? Because the little they have, you will have taken away. Is it going to exacerbate income inequality? Now, the rich are going to be in charge of distilling, they can afford licenses, and all that will go on. Isn't it going to increase the already existing unemployment, which we already have? And the question would be, the bill for me looks to target the poor, the very, very poor, who actually, a manufacturer will meet all those conditions that you mentioned. And lastly, I think the statistics are still lacking to convince me that actually all these problems we have are due to alcohol. Because like you say, whether it is cardiovascular, whether it is mental illness, we saw what COVID did here. In no minute, people were going crazy. Were they drinking alcohol? Where did they find it? Were under lockdown. So the question is, can you provide statistics that can convince me to be able to agree? And finally, alcohol. Are we not taking it as if it's a medical problem, but rather a social problem that requires social solutions? You really have expertise how HIV has turned around. Don't you think it is a path that you should take rather than trying to seek legislation? That you go in the community, after all you have a mental health department, you have, go in, educate the people, use the platforms, so that we can change behaviors without necessarily running to legislate that might just remain at the table. Thank you, Honorable Chair.